Hello friends, this is Dr. Shashi Agarwal. I welcome you all. Today our subject is development economics. Under development economics, we are going to do a very significant topic, that is Lewis theory of unlimited supply of labor. Its written note they will be uploaded shortly. Even the Lewis theory unlimited supply of labor is also available in Hindi explanation, Hindi notes at my blog, at my second channel Shashi Agarwal Economics and Law Classes. Under Lewis theory, we are going to cover what is the logic behind this theory, what are the characteristics of this theory, how the development process starts and how the development process ends, and how it is criticized. First of all, we are going to understand Professor Lewis has given the Lewis model in his work Economic Development with Unlimited Supply of Labor. He says there are certain underdeveloped economies which are highly populated. So Lewis model is applicable to the highly populated underdeveloped nations. The underdeveloped nations, they face the problem of disguised unemployment. Disguised unemployment means more persons are engaged in activity than actually needed. Like we have agricultural land on which we require 2%, but 5% they are working. So 3% they are disguised unemployed. The marginal productivity of these workers are zero. Even if some person they are withdrawn from this sector, the total output is not going to fall. The underdeveloped nations, they have shortage of capital. The ratio of capital formation is very low, because in the underdeveloped economy it is generally to 5 to 10%, but for development purpose we require 15 to 20%. So the underdeveloped economy, they face the scarcity of capital formation. By wisely using this unlimited supply of labor, because the population is highly populated, so they have unlimited supply of labor. If the unlimited supply of labor is used wisely, then they create capital formation, and then the process of economic development could be accelerated. This model is based on this assumption, because underdeveloped nation, they are having huge population, they are having high density of population, so they are facing the problem of disguised unemployment, and the marginal productivity of these people is zero, and the supply of the labor is perfectly elastic at the subsistence rate of wages. They just get the wage rate which is equal to the subsistence, which is only sufficient to cover their basic requirement, and the supply is perfectly elastic. And the underdeveloped economy, they have dual economies, because one sector is very developed, the other sector is less developed. They are having the capitalist sector in which the productivity is high, income is high, employment is high. Even the persons, they are getting more wages than the subsistence level, and the subsistence sector, that is the primary sector, in which the productivity, employment and income is very low, and they are using the backward techniques. Even the wages they get, they are very less than the workers who are working in the capitalistic sectors. So how the process of growth, how we could use the unlimited supply of labor, because less developed nations who are highly populated, they have unlimited supply of labor, so they face the problem of unemployment, disguised unemployment, underemployment. And the less developed nations, they also face their two different sectors exist. One is more developed and the other is less developed. One is capitalistic sector, where the productivity, high income, high level of capital formation. The other is agricultural sector, that is the primary sector. There low productivity, low income and low level of capital formation. Supply of labor is more than the demand, and they get the wages equal to the subsistence level. But in capitalist sector, the wages they are higher because they are using the modern techniques. In the primary sector, the techniques are used very backward, and their productivity is also higher than the labor who is working in the subsistence sectors. Basically, if the workers who are working in subsistence sector, working in primary sector, if they are transferred to the capitalist sectors, because here they will be paid wages which are more than the subsistence, more than the wages which they are getting in the subsistence sectors, but that wages they are less than their productivity, their wages are less the capitalistic wage rate. In this way, the entrepreneur, they will get the profit, that is called capitalistic surplus, and that they will invest, and it will enhance the capital formation, and it will also accelerate the process of development. The process of capital formation and economic growth would continue to grow as long as the worker from the private sectors, they are shifted to the capitalist sectors and paid wages which is higher than the subsistence sectors but less than the capital, the workers who are working in the capitalistic sectors. But it will stop. The process of growth, process of development will stop where the workers demand wages equal to the wages in the capitalist sectors, because the entrepreneur, they will not have additional surplus. So Lewis suggested two suggestions. The workers, they should be migrated from the other countries, the supply of the labor will increase, and in this manner they will be ready to work at the low wages. Or we could invest in other countries, so the demand will be less, and the worker will be ready to work at the less wage rate. So what are the features of the Lewis model? First is the mobilization of the labor. Process of, according to Lewis, we could also do the capital formation with the help of bank credit. Initially it will enhance the inflation, but after some time the production will increase and the inflation will washed out of the economy, because the production will also increase. So what are the features of the Lewis model? Mobilization of the labor, because the workers who are having the problem of disguised unemployment, they are working in the primary sector, they should be shifted to the capitalist sectors. Even the job, they should be also given to the women workers who are working in primary sectors. So it will basically it will increase the workforce. It will be using the surplus workforce. At the capital sector, basically the entrepreneur, he will be having profit, because he will be paying less than the capitalistic wage rate to the workers who are shifted from the subsistence sectors. That is why he will be having the profit, and that profit will be utilized for the further investments. Wages will be demanded, wages will be paid to the subsistence, wages will be paid to higher, but they will be less than the capitalistic sectors. After some period, they may demand wages equal to the wages, they may demand higher wages. So growth of the capitalist sector would also stimulate the growth of subsistence sectors, because when the workers, they have shifted from the subsistence sector to the capitalistic sector, their productivity will also enhance and their wages will also be equal to the capitalist sectors. So growth of the capitalist sector will also stimulate the growth of subsistence sector. Like here, we could also understand with the help of this diagram, like this AM and this CDN, and this is the marginal productivity curve of the laborers. So this is the subsistence level, and this is the wage rate which is paid to the workers. Here the productivity of the OM labor is equal to this much, but they are paid wages this much, WBM. So this is AWB is the profit which is available to the entrepreneur, and that is going to invest. So they will demand more labor. In the same manner, here this is the productivity because they are paid less than the productivity. So this is the way wages are paid. So this much the surplus they are having. Again, that will be invested. As long as the capitalist sector is having the additional profit by hiring the workers from the subsistence sector, then the path of economic development will be accelerated. But this path will end where the workers, they will be demanding wages higher. Capital formation could also be possible through bank credit. Initially, bank credit may cause inflation, but in the longer period the production will increase, so the inflation will be wiped out of the economy. So how the process of development ends? Because there will be increased demand for the labor, and they will be demanding they should be given more wages. So the entrepreneur, he is not going to have the additional profits. Even when the workers, they are shifted from the subsistence sector to the capitalist sectors, their productivity will also enhance. Like we have a land which we produce 10 kg of wheat, and the 5 person are working, 3 person they are shifted. So the earlier the productivity, marginal productivity was 2 per person, now it has 5 kg per person. So the productivity of subsistence sector will also increase, and they will also using the latest technology. So their wage rate will also enhance, and it will become to the wages in the capital sectors. And there will be also rise in the price in the food grains, and the trade union will also put pressure that the persons who are working in the capital sector, they should be paid more wages. So the process of development will end because they will not be having surplus profit to invest. So Lewis has offered 2 suggestions. There should be open economy. The laborer should from other nations, they should be migrated because supply will increase. So the worker, they will be ready to at the low rates, and the capital could be exported to other countries. So there will be less investment and less demand. So the workers, they will be ready to work at the low price. This theory has been criticized. It has a limited scope. It is only applicable to those countries where which are highly populated. There are certain underdeveloped economies like South Africa, Latin America, which do not have the problem of unlimited supply of labor. So this law will not be applicable. And he says the labor should be migrated from the subsistence sector to the capital sectors, but it is not easy to mobilize the labor from one sector to another sector. And it also says subsistence level wages, they are constant. That assumption was also not true. And basically the underdeveloped nation, they face the problem of skilled workers, and the underdeveloped economy, they are having unskilled workers, so it is very difficult to train them. And the underdeveloped economy, they do not have sufficient number of entrepreneurs because of the scarcity of the capital. And the investment multiplier is also not operative in the underdeveloped economies. It means when we make certain investment, the income increases so many times. So investment multiplier is not operative in the underdeveloped economy, and marginal productivity of the worker is not zero. It is not possible to identify the number of the person who are under the disguised unemployment. And the inflation is not self-liquidating, because once the inflation starts, it's very difficult to control. And here we are not studying the things which are manufactured in the capital sector, how much demand is there. So we are just ignoring the aspect of the aggregate demand, and saving is not done only by the capital sector. It could be done by the household sector, it could be done by the government sector. But still, this theory, although it has many limitations, but still it has analyzed the problem of highly populated highly populated underdeveloped economies, shortage of capital, unlimited supply of labor. They have also analyzed the disguised unemployment problem.